Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the all new channel Swamev Educational Foundation. First of all, I'll say please subscribe this channel and click the bell icon so that you can get the notifications of upcoming videos. Now, basically, first of all, I would like to just brief you about what is the main motive of creating this channel and why this organization is working for in this initiative. So, Swami Educational Foundation is a charitable initiative for educated and empowered Bharat. As the motto of this organization is that charitable initiative for educated and empowered Bharat, working in the field of education and health sector. So, these are two sectors in which it is working. Recently, this organization has launched an educational initiative called Siksha Dan. So, in which we are providing CBSE board classes for grade 10th and 12th. English medium, as of now, only English medium, but as the people will begin to enter with us, we will definitely go for Hindi medium also. And we, right now, we have started with humanities subjects, but later on in the coming days, when people join this organization, more people, because we are doing a charitable work for the society, benefit of the society. So people will definitely join like-minded people. So then we are going to have different subjects. So for now, if I say grade 12, we are going to have English, geography, political science, and psychology. Whereas in grade 10th, we are going to have English and social sciences. So these are the subjects which will be taught. So please be updated with this. Another thing I would like to just update you that in health sector, this organization has started with a drive in which they are providing free, if I say, sanitary napkins in schools, which will be updated there. They will have their dispensers and maybe on a minimum charges or free of cost, they will be providing these sanitary napkins because health and hygiene cannot be avoided. This is a right of the people which must be we have to follow, and it must be given to everyone, whether he or she is uh, means if I say the half of the humanity I'm talking about, so females especially, they must be given this right. So because this is a charitable initiative, so people may donate whatever the capacity you have. You will be provided with in coming sessions you will get to know that what are the things you can, and I will invite even the teachers also to join this organization, and those students who want to go abroad, they can join this organization because a membership will provide them to a 5% benefit in their foreign universities. So let's begin with the chapter for the today. As you know, the chapter 1, challenges of nation building, we are beginning with. Now, if I say chapter 1, challenges to nation building, so basically at the midnight hour of 14th or 15th August 1947. So 15th August 1947, in the midnight, India got its independence, and Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister of free India. Now, what happens when Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister of free India? The first thing what happened at that night uh, in assembly, Constituent Assembly, on that night, Jawaharlal Nehru gave a famous speech which is known as a Tryst with Destiny speech. And all of you are familiar that what he said from there. And he became the first Prime Minister of India to hoist the flag from Red Fort. So basically, we have been waiting for, and this was a joyous moment for everyone. But we will see later on. There were two main things on which broadly everyone agreed. If I say there were two main things on which everyone was agreed that what should be the future India look like. So that was the first thing, that the country should be run through democratic government, one, and the second was the government will run for the good of all, particularly the poor and socially disadvantaged group. So remember, these were two basic things or goals on which everyone was agreeing. But let me tell you, the way India was born, or you can say the India got freedom, no other country has got uh, freedom in such difficult circumstances as India had got, because it saw the partition of India, and which was a painful partition. It was not only the partition of the land and territories, it was also the partition of hearts. So remember, in this chapter, basically what we are going to do, that important things we are going to discuss here, and we are just going to uh, also highlight the things which which will be important in coming time. So from board perspective only, I'm going to discuss important questions. Remember this, though entire chapter will be covered in that. So let us do one thing. Let me share another document. So I'll share one more document. So if I say, as I said, whatever we have discussed till now. So let's see what we have done till now. So the famous speech, Tryst with Destiny, given by Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of Free India. India got its freedom on the midnight of 14th and 15th August 1947. And as I said, there were two goals, and those two goals almost everyone agreed upon. One was that we shall run the country through democratic government, and second, that the government will be run by all, particularly the poor and socially disadvantaged groups. So these were two things which we have promised. Now, if I see, there were several challenges, but the foremost, there were three main challenges the country faced just after independence. If you see in this picture, so Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru is standing on the podium and hoisting the flag of India for the first time in free India. So see here in this picture, we are able to see that end of 200-year-old British rule in India, royal assent to independence bill has been given and two dominions created. So we'll see what were these dominions which we are talking about. So what were three main challenges? Remember, first and foremost thing that you have to, and you have to write down, as I said, the first and foremost challenge, because you have to put the heading first, only then you have to describe. So the first heading, if I say, the immediate challenge was to shape a nation that was, so the first challenge, to shape a nation that was united yet accommodative of the diversity in society. This was the first challenge. Then we'll come to the second challenge. The second challenge was to establish democracy in India. And we'll come to the third challenge, which was to ensure the development and well-being of the entire society, not only some sections. Clear? So development and well-being of entire society, not of the some sections. So these are the three important challenges. Now let us discuss one by one all these three challenges. So when we say to shape a nation that was united yet accommodative of the diversity in our society, we need to understand that India is a land of continental size. That's why it is known as subcontinent, and it has diversity of languages. Several languages are there. India is one of the richest country in terms of languages. More than 1,500 dialects and languages. 22 official scheduled languages are there. So different cultures are followed, different religions are, no religion on the earth which exists is probably there in India. So that means India was a very big country, and at that time, for such diverse country to keep them together for a long was really difficult thing. So what happened? The partition of the country, in which several people of the world said that India will not last for more than 10 years. It was said for India. Thank God that we are still a democratic country and we have still lost 75 years on, and we are counting, and probably we are the largest democracy. Not a probably, we are the largest democracy in the world, isn't it? So they said that would India survive a unified country? Would it do by emphasizing national unity at the cost of every other objective? Because looking at the partition condition, India was partitioned, so it was thought whether India will unite everything and it will just leave other objectives behind. Would it mean rejecting all regional and subnational identities? No. So, and there was an urgent question: how was integration of territory of India to be achieved? We are going to learn about this in the later half in this chapter only. Now, second challenge was to establish democracy. Remember, only establishing a democratic constitution does not bring democracy. What you have to also do is to establish, implement it on ground, and practices, democratic framework that should be created. There should be a competition, political competition in a democratic framework. That was the need of the hour, because only establishing a democratic constitution will never bring it. So, democratic constitution is necessary but not sufficient for establishing a democracy. So, the challenge was to develop democratic practices in accordance with the constitution. Now, we come to the third challenge: to ensure the development and well-being of the entire society and not only some sections. That means this is the section where we talk about that constitution clearly laid down the principle of equality and special provisions for the socially disadvantaged groups and religious and cultural communities. So that means we talked about bring everyone together, and the development should be a holistic development. No one, not even a single person, should be left behind in any way, whether because of the economic poverty, economic reasons, or social reason, or cultural reasons, or religious reason. From any of the things, nobody should be. And principle of state policy was the welfare goals that should be achieved. And the real challenge now was to evolve effective policies for economic development and eradication of poverty. Though we are able to see, or we can say that for last 75 years, we have been one country which has been fighting with poverty with all our might. But probably now we are able to see even better results. So how did, we'll see later on. Now let us come. If we see and read this speech by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, presidential address to the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan in Karachi on 11th August, when India was not still divided, and it was United India, and he was in Karachi. He just delivered this speech. And what did he say? He said that we should begin to work in that spirit, and in course of time, all these angularities of majority and minority communities, the Hindu community and the Muslim community, he was well aware. But let me tell you, it was he, despite he has said all these things, let me tell you, it was Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Muslim League which demanded for, which gave and advocated the two nation theory, that Hindus and Muslims are two separate people, and that's why they demanded Pakistan for Muslims. So this was given by Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Whereas if we see Jawaharlal Nehru, how did he just say it and what was his views? So he gave it on 15th October 1947. And what were his view? Actually, this speech was given after the partition of India. And if I say, so at that time, the partition has taken place. And if you know that uh, there were more Muslim than Pakistan in India at that time. And even today also, we have means one of second largest population of Muslims in India. So you need to understand that Jawaharlal Nehru said that Muslim minority who are so large in number that they cannot, even if they want to go anywhere else, दुनिया में कोई और जगह ही नहीं है. So that is the basic fact about which that can be no argument. And what is basic fact? That whatever the provocation from Pakistan and whatever the indignities and horrors inflicted on non-Muslims in Pakistan, but we have to deal with this minority in a civilized manner. We must give them security and the rights of citizens in a democratic state. If we fail to do so, we shall have a festering sore which will eventually poison the whole body, politic, and probably destroy. So this was the concern of Jawaharlal Nehru which he has shown. Now, if I come to the partition and displacement and rehabilitation, we need to understand that what came to be known at the time of 14th or 15th August, two nations came. It was not India who got the independence, it was Pakistan and India. So Pakistan got its independence on 14th of August and India on 15th of August. And two nation theory, I have already explained about it. Now, process of partition, if you are asked what were the problems faced in the process of partition, so how you are going to deal with them and what you are going to tell them. If I say that what were the problems faced or difficulties during this partition, so we will be saying that Congress was always opposed to two nation theory. Political competition between Congress and Muslim League and the British rule led to the creation of Pakistan. Basically, Pakistan was created because there was a political competition between Congress and Muslim League. And that's why. So the process of partition was painful and difficult, definitely. And how it was created, if you see, the first of all, Muslim majority areas would make up Pakistan. So it was decided that all those areas in India which have Muslim majority, they will be given to Pakistan. And rest of the area where Muslims are not there, it will be automatically become India. So these were two things, but it may look very easy right now that yes, it was okay what was said, but if we focus on the main issue, we'll come to know that it was not an easy task. There were four difficulties related to the partition of India, if I say. And what were those four difficulties? The first difficulty, that there no single belt of Muslim majority area in British India. Actually, in British India, there was no single area which can be said that it is Muslim dominated. And that's why this was the main problem. In India, there were two areas of concentration. One was in east, another was west, and there was thousands kilometers of expanse in between them, and they cannot be connected by any way. So there was no way these two parts could be connected, joined. So it was decided that new country of Pakistan will have two territories. One will be in west, that will be called West Pakistan, and another will be in east, that means Bangladesh area, present Bangladesh, which we say, that was earlier known as East Pakistan. Then there was another thing, not all Muslims majority areas wanted to be in Pakistan. Let us discuss one example. The Muslims of people, they did not want to join Pakistan. And one of the best example is Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, who is also known as the Frontier Gandhi. and he was undisputed leader of the northwestern frontier province, that Sindh, Baluchistan, and that area. So what happened? It was decided that it will be given to Pakistan. So he was against it. But eventually, everyone just neglected his voice. So what happened? He left Pakistan and he came to India. So that means there were people who did not want to join Pakistan and remain in, they never advocated, despite being Muslims, they never advocated two nation theory. The third problem was that of the two Muslim majority provinces of India, Punjab and Bengal. Now, this was the really biggest problem. These two areas, if I say, where non-Muslims were equally in majority, means not everywhere Muslims were there. There were areas in pockets where Hindus were in majority in between Muslims. So eventually it was decided that two provinces would be bifurcated on religious majority, district or even lower level. So they went to the district level or even taluka or village level also. They just got divided the country. It meant that the large number of people did not know on the day of independence whether they were in India or Pakistan. So the partition of these two provinces caused the deepest trauma of partition. And the fourth one is related with this only. And what is that? The problem was of minorities on both sides. So because of this partition of Bengal and Punjab provinces, Punjab in west and Bengal in east. So what happened? To both sides, lakhs of, or you can say, lakhs of Muslims and lakhs of Hindus were trapped in these areas. And what happened? This was a such situation where nobody has anticipated that what will happen. Nobody has thought that this may happen, that such civilizations which have lived together for centuries with each other, they started targeting each other, attacking each other. They killed, raped, maimed, and violence continued. More than 10 lakh people, that means 1 million people died. You can understand what horrific situation was there. And they were forced to leave their houses immediately. Means hours, within hours they were given notice. If you have seen movies there called Gadar, so in that we have seen the trauma of partition. That is one of the most known movie which you can just see. So consequences of partition, what happened because of this? What were the consequences of partition? If you see this train coming from Pakistan to India. Now, if I say these problems, how we just came to overcome these areas. So tragic transfer of population, more than 80 lakh people crossed the borders. And during crossing, what happened? Killings and atrocities took place. 10 lakh people were killed. Females were raped, maimed, and married to the abductor. The country was divided, or you can say these two areas, Punjab and West Bengal, or the Bengal became divided into communal zones in major cities. Miseries in refugee camps, people, if they could anyhow survive and reached India, so what happened with them in India also? They have to live in refugee camps. There was no home and where to go. Often they have to live in refugee camps for months or sometimes years also. So miseries knew no bound. There was forceful conversion and marriages. If you see that Gadar movie, you must have seen, though it was not has been shown as the forceful conversion, but it happened everywhere. So there were honor killing. To save the pride of the family, females were killed so that the people do not tarnish the family honor. Children were separated from parents. Recently, we saw a movie called Bharat. In that also, we saw how Children were separated from their parents and how they meet with each other. So all these, looking at these challenges, if we come further during this partition, we come to see that the sacrifice of Mahatma Gandhi. So let's see sacrifice of Mahatma Gandhi. See, there is a movie called Garam Hawa. Here it is written Garam Hawa. If you see, so this movie, Balraj Sahni, character is there, Salim Mirza. He is a shoe manufacturer in Agra and increasingly finds himself a stranger amid the people as he has lived all his life. All his life he was living in Agra, and suddenly he found that he is undesirable in India. So he feels lost in the emerging reality, and after partition, his business suffers. And what happens? His business suffers, and a refugee from other sides of partition or India occupies his ancestral dwelling. जिस घर में रहता था, that was overtaken by someone who came from Pakistan, and so his daughter too had a tragic end. He believes that things would soon be normal. So this is one incident or one movie which describes there are several movies, and this movie came in 1973. Now, Mahatma Gandhi's sacrifice. So, as you know, that Mahatma Gandhi has been the prime leader throughout the journey of India, and he was leading the nation for the freedom struggle. So, what happened on 15th August, Gandhi for 1947? Mahatma Gandhi was not in Delhi when the India was celebrating its freedom. He was in Kolkata, where the Hindu-Muslim rights were growing on or going on, and he lived with them. But he was very much upset with the situation as emerged, because he has always advocated for truth and non-violence. And what satyagraha, truth. So, but what happened here? Non-violence was defeated, and if we see, everywhere only there was a violence, violence, and only violence. 10 lakh people dying. No other uh, country has witnessed such a huge trauma. If we see, as here it has been happening. So Gandhiji went to persuade the Hindus and Muslims to give up the violence. So because of his presence, the communal violence was somehow temporarily the situation improved. And Gandhiji prayers meeting attracted large crowds, but this was a short lived, because once again Hindus and Muslim rights erupted, and once again he has to resort to fast to bring peace. So it was one of the potent weapons which he has used against what you say, Britishers also. The same weapon he used against the Indians also, so that there should be a better situation in India. What happened? Next month, Gandhiji moved to Delhi, where there was a large scale violence going on. And here, if we see, uh, Gandhiji always advocated that Muslims should live in India. They should not be forced to leave India, though the Pakistan was created because it was thought that Pakistan is a Muslim nation. So automatically, as soon as Gandhiji reached Delhi, the effect was very dramatic. Communal tension and violence reduced. Muslims of Delhi and surrounding areas returned to their homes safely. The government of India agreed to give Pakistan its dues. If you remember, uh, I don't know if you have seen that movie Gadar. So वहां पे बोलता है ना, we have given you 65 crore rupees, then you just got your roof over your head. So the government of India earlier just disagreed with Pakistan that you have created such a tragic situation. Lakhs of people have been killed, and we are not going to honor our commitment to give you the money. But finally, because of Mahatma Gandhi, India agreed to give them money. So, but Gandhiji's action were not liked by all. What happened? Whatever Gandhiji did, there were few people who wanted a Hindu nation, India to be a Hindu nation, because as two nation theory was proposed, so they thought that Pakistan for Muslims and for rest of the communities except Muslims, it should be a Hindustan. So they wanted to make it a Hindu nation and a Hindustan. So what happened? They accused Gandhiji of acting in the interest of Muslims. So what did they say? They said that Gandhiji was acting for the Pakistan. And what happened in this pursuit? One of the person, his name was Nathuram Godse. So on one of the evening when he was just praying and he has taken the fast, so 30th January 1948, Nathuram Godse shot 3 bullets and killing Mahatma Gandhi instantly on the spot. So this ended his lifelong struggle for truth and non-violence. So Gandhiji's death, as soon as the news of Gandhi's death is spread, it had a dramatic effect. Everywhere there was a silence. Suddenly, all the communal tension was gone. People started living together. The government, after the killing, they just banned the different organization, whether it was Hindus or Muslim organizations, they banned both. Now, if we see after this happening, the problem is coming to the integration of princely states. Now, this was important. As soon as we overcame with the process of partition and these things, so what happened? Few things were realized by the Indian people, that what has happened, that during the British time, if I say integration of princely state, if you see, so British India was divided into two. One part was the British Indian provinces, which were under directly the British government. Whereas there were the other people who were called princely states, other areas which were known as princely states. These were governed by the princely rulers or local rulers, and they were given some autonomy till they have accepted the suzerainty and paramountcy of the British supremacy. So this was called paramountcy or suzerainty of British crown. So what happened? As soon as uh, British announced that India is a free nation, they also said that along with British India provinces, even the princely states are also free. Their paramountcy and suzerainty ends there. So that means they created and they said that all these princely states are free either to join India or to join Pakistan or to remain free and become an independent nation. That means at the time of partition, Britishers, what did they do? Divide and rule. Here also, they said if we are not able to rule this country, so what we are going to do, we will create as many as 565 countries. And they will be legally independent. So now, this decision, and as the partition of India and Pakistan has taken place, so this situation was very problematic, and it was thought that it will happen someday or the other, it is going to come, and this will prove dangerous situation for a country like India, where it was thought that definitely this situation will lead to the disintegration of the country and the problem will be bigger. So the problem started. As soon as it happened, Britishers announced that all these countries were free. So the first of all, the ruler of Travancore, present Kerala, and some areas of Tamil Nadu. So he says, announced that he has decided to be independent. That means the situation which was at this time, we were sitting on a ticking bomb. And what you was supposed to happen? They have put what a match stick, and they have just ignited the bomb. So what happened? The next day, Nizam of Hyderabad also announced the same. Similar pronunciation next day. The rulers like Nawab of Bhopal, he was averse to joining Constituent Assembly, and the same responses we saw from several of other such princely states who did not want to join India. So there was a probability that in India will be divided into 565 smaller nations, first thing. Then there were chances. What were two goals, if you remember? To establish a democracy. That was the first goal, which we have talked about. So established a democracy. So chances of democracy in these princely states were bleak if they were given the opportunity to remain free. So this was a strange situation since Indian independence was aimed at unity, self-determination, as well as democracy. So government approach. If we talk about how did government handle this? So government was really thinking what to do in such situation. And if I say that they were really very quick in taking out the situation, how they handled it, if I say, so government was guided by four principles or four approaches. The first approach, which they were guided by, the people of most of the princely states clearly wanted to become the part of Indian Union. So any princely state, and remember this responsibility was given to whom? The then Deputy Prime Minister of India and Home Minister Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Remember this situation, and that's why, if you remember, yesterday only was 31st October, and we have celebrated the National Unity Day because he was the chief architect who just created India, what we see today. Today, we may not feel that what were the problems, but let me tell you, we have faced several problems in uniting India. So Sardar Patel, he just played a historic role in negotiating with the rulers of princely states firmly but diplomatically, bringing most of them to Indian Union. So, for instance, let me tell you that there were 26 small states in today's Orissa. Saurashtra region of Gujarat had 14 big and 119 small states. So that's why 565 means were there. So first of all, what was the what were the three considerations which they chose? So the government approach had three considerations. The first was the people of most of princely states clearly wanted to become part of Indian Union. And any princely states, if we want to become the part of Indian Union, it was given the opportunity to join India. Then secondly, the government was prepared to give some flexibility and autonomy to the region. If you join India, we will provide you some autonomy because we wanted to accommodate the plurality and adopt flexible approach in dealing demand of regions. But the third important in the backdrop of the partition, the third thing was very important, which brought into focus the contest over demarcation of territory and integration and consolidation of territorial boundaries. So that became one of the most important, that to keep India united and its territories away from other countries to influence. So that became one of the most important considerations or approaches, three approaches. Now, before 15th August 1947, a peaceful negotiation had brought almost all the states to the Indian Union. But the rulers of most of the states signed a document which was known as Instrument of Accession. Now, when we say accession, that means they have joined India. That means they agreed to become the part of Indian Union. Accession of the princely states of Junagadh, Hyderabad, Kashmir, and Manipur was really a little difficult and tricky one. And you see, Kashmir we are still feeling because this situation was there. So the issue of Junagadh was resolved after plebiscite. You know what is plebiscite? When we say plebiscite, or referendum. So in plebiscite, what happens? We just uh, put the idea in front of the people. People vote for it whether they want or not, and if they agree, so we just do. So here also in Junagadh, there was a referendum or plebiscite held, and people of the state said that we want to join India, and finally they were joining. This chapter about Kashmir we are going to read in detail in the other chapters. But right now, Hyderabad and Manipur are main focus which we are going to deal with here. So let's come to the Hyderabad. If you see this person uh, here, he is Nizam of Hyderabad, and he was the one of the richest person of the world at that time. So Hyderabad, the largest princely state. What were the problems in integration of Hyderabad? Such questions might be asked. So some parts of the old Hyderabad states, part of Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. Isn't it? So if we combine them together, then it was Hyderabad. So its ruler was titled as Nizam, and he was one of the world's richest men. The Nizam wanted an independent status for Hyderabad, and because he wanted an independent status, so he entered in an agreement with India, which came to be known as a standstill agreement. Now, there is a difference between instrument of accession and standstill agreement. In instrument of accession, these princely states joined India. But a standstill agreement, what he said, that okay, we are negotiating, by then you will not do anything against us, and I'm just till then I join your country, I'm independent. That is called a standstill agreement. So in November 1949, he just signed it for a year while negotiations were on. In the meantime, a movement of the people in Hyderabad state against Nizam's rule gathered force. So there was a movement. The peasantry in Telangana region in particular was victim of Nizam's oppressive rule and rose against him. Because Nizam was not a democratic ruler. He was acting like princely state. He was a prince, or you can say a king. So he thought that he will rule on his will. So what happened? There were several operations he carried out in Telangana region, and especially against non-Muslims were their target. Hyderabad town was the nerve center of this movement. The communists and the Hyderabad Congress were the forefront of the movement. And what happened? The Nizam sent his paramilitary troops, and these were known as Razakars. Remember, this question has been asked several times. Who were Razakars? So Razakars were the paramilitary forces of Nizam of Hyderabad, and they brought atrocities, and communal nature of Razakars knew no bounds. They murdered, maimed, raped, and looted, targeting particularly the non-Muslim. So finally, what happened? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in September 1948 sent his army to tackle the situation, and within 1 week's time, intermittent small chutput could fight me, and after that, what happened? Nizam surrendered, and this led to the Hyderabad's accession to India. If we see Manipur, so Manipur had a little bit different situation, and we will see that what was different. So Maharaja of Manipur was Bodh Chandra Singh. If I say the Maharaja of Manipur, Bodh Chandra Singh. So he signed the instrument of accession with the Indian government on the assurance that the internal autonomy of the Manipur would be maintained. If you see this picture here, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel asking the king Maharaja Bodh Chandra Singh, who is sitting on his poor people or poor estate, that just you need not to sit up and stand from your rule. You have to just do one thing. Give me, we are providing, this was the second principle in which we have given and considered that we will provide autonomy. So he said that only your external affairs and defense and communication. Three things. See here, external affairs, defense, and communication. Only these three things you just give me. Rest I will handle by myself. You can just be free, rule the state, but you have to just give these three things. So this was the second approach which we have used with Manipur. So Manipur, under the pressure, public opinion, Maharaja held election in Manipur in June 1948. Remember, till then, no election had taken place in India, in independent India. So what happened? Manipur became the first Indian state to hold elections on the basis of universal adult franchising. And with these elections, Manipur became constitutional monarchy. As you know, the constitution will be there, and the king will be the main head of it. So in the legislative assembly of Manipur, there were sharp differences for question of merger of Manipur with India, that why we have merged with India. They questioned it. While the state congress wanted the merger, the other political parties were against it. So the government of India succeeded in pressurizing Maharaja Bodh Chandra Singh. And what happened? They signed an agreement which came to be known as merger agreement. So Maharaja Bodh Chandra Singh signed a merger agreement in September 1949 without consulting the popularly elected Legislative Assembly of Manipur. So, you know, at that time it was a constitutional monarchy, election had taken place, Legislative Assembly was there, but the king did not consult with the assembly. And this caused a lot of anger and resentment in Manipur. The repercussions, we are still seeing them. So these were the problems. Now, reorganization of a state, if I say, this was another big issue in India, which we have seen. So when we say reorganization of India after independence, it was decided that we are going to reorganize it, and reorganization will take place. How it was supposed to be organized, that was a question, and what we were supposed to do regarding that. So drawing the internal boundaries was another task in the process of nation building. How internal should be done. So linguistic and cultural plurality of India could be reflected without affecting national unity. It was felt that on the basis of linguistic and cultural plurality, as earlier it was said in India, that we can just do it. Before partition of India and before India got independence, we have advocated about the linguistic and cultural plurality to become one of the reasons for affecting or dividing internal boundaries. So our national movement had promised the formation of states on linguistic basis. In Congress, Nagpur Congress session of 1920, it was decided. But what happened after independence? The leaders of India were afraid of it. They feared that formation of linguistic states might lead to disintegration. And this is the question which is asked in board examination. But was it correct? So they thought that it would draw attention away from other social and economic challenges, and the fate of the princely states had still not been decided, that what is going to happen, whether they are going to India or Pakistan or going to remain independent. So that means we will provoke a division of the country. And we have already seen Pakistan. So we never wanted, we were, means the people were not in favor. So central leadership decided to postpone the matter. But local leaders challenged this decision. The Vishal Andhra movement came for a separate Andhra Pradesh. So Andhra was supposed to be created and to be separated from Tamil Nadu. Tamil speaking Tamil Nadu and Madras province was there. So Tamil speaking Tamil Nadu and Telugu speaking Andhra Pradesh. So this was a demand which came to be known as Vishal Andhra movement. So all the political parties in Andhra region were supported the movement. what happened? The Congress leader and veteran Gandhinian went on indefinite fast. His name was Poti Sriramalu. So he just fasted for 56 days, and after that he died. His death brought the change in the mindset of the people, and people resorted to the violence. There were several violence everywhere, and several legislators of Madras Assembly resigned in support of Andhra Pradesh. So finally, in December 1952, Andhra Pradesh was formed. By the formation of Andhra Pradesh, finally it was decided that now we are going to have more states on the basis of language. So similar movement started coming. So State Reorganization Commission was established in 1952, and Fazal Ali was the chairperson of this State Reorganization Commission. So this act was passed in 1956, and 14 states and 6 union territories were created. So this organization commission submitted its report, and after that, the State Reorganization Act was passed in 1956. 14 states and 6 union territories were created. Impact of formation of linguistic states, what happened? So regional leaders became part of the national politics now. Uniform division of the state happened, strengthened the national unity. What was thought that it will divide India, instead it strengthened the national unity. Acceptance for the principle of diversity became one of the important things, and several states were created. There are several timelines which has been given. Recently we have seen in 2014 the creation of Telangana from Andhra Pradesh. So now Andhra Pradesh and Telangana are separate states. So, and Telangana, the capital of Telangana is Hyderabad, and the capital of Andhra Pradesh is also Hyderabad, but Andhra Pradesh will have now its own capital, which will be known as Amravati. So demand for the new state has not come to an end. Movements for Vidarbha in Maharashtra, Harit Pradesh in parts of Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal are going on. Still, we are seeing, and the what do you call Abhi bhi, if we see the picture here, let me just show you the picture. So these are the different states which were created. See how Maha Gujarat, Vishal Andhra, Sanyukta Karnataka, Brihan Maharashtra were created. Such demands came after this. But this picture, in this picture, what is happening? Jawaharlal Nehru is trying to tame the genie of linguistic organization or state reorganization to come back, but it is not happening. India was divided later on this linguistic line. For example, if I say Punjab was divided, or it came. So Punjabi speaking Punjab and Hindi speaking Haryana were divided in 1960. So in 1966, basically this happened. Punjab and Haryana, they were separated, and Himachal Pradesh was separated. In 1960, basically, Bombay province was divided into Gujarati speaking Gujarat and Marathi speaking Maharashtra. So if we see, another major reorganization of state took place in Northeast in 1972. Meghalaya was carved out of Assam. Manipur, Tripura too emerged, separate states, and Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh came in 1987. Nagaland, it came earlier only in 1963. So on the basis of languages, and there were other separate regional culture has been one of the principle on the basis of which in 2003 states were carved out. One was Chhattisgarh from MP, Uttarakhand from UP, and Jharkhand from Bihar. These were created. In 2014, already I have explained you how it has happened, and still there is a demand. As I told you, it includes Vidarbha in Maharashtra, Harit Pradesh in western region of Uttar Pradesh, and north region of West Bengal. So these are the things which are still going on. And if we see, so this was about this chapter. I hope you will enjoy it, and it will help you in your examinations also. So I'll say thank you so much, and just stay tuned. बेल आइकन को जरूर प्रेस कीजिए, so that you are aware there are several sessions are coming in which we will be providing this. Thank you so much. God bless you all.